Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy Ennis. I am the Interfaith Chaplain at the Lincoln campus, and I am so excited to welcome you to this beautiful day of celebration. Let us begin with a moment of gratitude. I invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer. We give thanks for this place and this time, for this cool and cloudy day, the ancient Rocky Mountains towering above us, the waters that flow from the sky and the snowpack to the streams to our lips, for the radiance of the sun, the source of our energy, the marker of our time, and for the living earth and the web of life of which we are a part. We give thanks for all our ancestors, for those who watch over us and dwell in our hearts and minds today, those from which we receive the gifts of DNA, of bodies, of nurturing, of love, and of knowledge. For teachers, families, and others who have cared for and challenged these students seated here. For the intellectual, artistic, and athletic traditions which they inherit and change and pass on to others. We give thanks for this community, for the senior class of 2019 assembled here today to mark a real passage towards independence with all the joys and responsibilities thereof. We give thanks for their questions, their passions, and their promise. May we all be blessed by participation in this rite of passage, this ritual that is a symbol of the renewal of life and a promise that the fruits of the earth, the struggles of our species, and the labors of our community are not in vain but serve a purpose larger than ourselves. For these things, we give thanks.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Alan Sparrow, head of school here at Rowland Hall. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the class of 2019's graduation. These students have been fully engaged in the program here at Rowland Hall, and it's shown in the tremendous academic success that they've had. They've also been involved in an impressive way in the extracurricular and broader academic programs at the school. Our nationally ranked debate team had an exceptional season, led by our seniors, 5 of whom qualified for the national championships, and 1 of whom came in third with their partner. Athletically, they've been outstanding for both our interscholastic program and Romark for 4 years, and this year as seniors led us to what was one of our best seasons ever. In the arts, the department put on a program, a specific show called Imagining Alice, which involved 200 students and drama, dance, music, and the visual arts. And there's no way that the fantastic faculty we've had could have put this on without the involvement and leadership of the seniors. There's many, many more things they've done, and I put that in your program, just a smattering of it. And I want to congratulate the seniors for an impressive 4 years you've had in our high school. There's one other person that would have liked to congratulate you who couldn't be here today. This person would want to honor you and tell you how much she enjoyed getting to know you. And that person is Linda Hampton, who passed away last December. So on her behalf, I've been asked to honor you and tell you how much she wishes you the best. Linda was a very upbeat person though, and she spent 30 years here running graduations with 4 principals and me. And I'd like to give her a round of applause for all she did for the students, faculty, staff, and parents here at the school. You were all very kind to her last fall when she was dealing with her cancer. But I wasn't surprised. I've always been impressed with the quality of care that you give to others. And not just your classmates, but the underclassmen, the faculty, the staff, and in fact the larger community. Many of you have participated in important ways to try to make our community a better place. I've felt that kindness myself. Many of you stop me in the hall and say hello. I've gotten cards and just verbal thank yous for lots of things while you've been here at Rowland Hall. And many of you stop me and have discussions with me about the school. One of the seniors did that a while ago and asked, Mr. Sparrow, do you still greet the kids with puppets in the room? And I said I did, and a couple months ago she asked whether I would bring a puppet at graduation. And in fact, she specifically chose this puppet for me to bring to join us today at our graduation. Because she said, because she said the puppets meant a lot to her when she was at lower school and it's a fond memory. And what's interesting is I was walking in the aisle just now, one of the senior parents, as I was walking by, said, "Mr. Sparrow, where are your puppets?" That's you right there. So I thought that was fitting. Interesting enough, shortly after the senior asked me to bring a puppet, I had to call a school lawyer about a legal issue. So I called her and she said, "I'll give my associate on, I'll call and she'll call you back in the next day or two." So this person called me back a couple of days later. After giving me the answer, she said, "Mr. Sparrow, I don't know if you remember me or not, but my name's Adrian Nash, class of '09. I have a question for you. Do you still greet the kids with puppets in the morning?" And I said, "I absolutely do still greet the kids with puppets, and I do remember you. You were one of the few students as a kindergartner and a first grader who was so shy that you held onto your mother's leg on the way in and didn't engage with the puppets. It wasn't until you were second or third grade that you did that. You're also the student who, when you were a senior, said you hoped I would always greet the kids with puppets because it meant so much to you when you came in the morning to see the puppets and be greeted, and she hoped I would continue to do that." So she said, "I have one more question for you, Mr. Sparrow." And I said, "What?" She said, "How did that whole puppet thing get started?" So this is what I told her. When I first got here, 27 years ago, I thought it'd be nice if I got to know the kids on the Avenues campus. So I decided to greet all the kids that came in off the playground in the morning and shake their hands and say good morning. It seemed like a great idea in the fall. But as winter struck and 300 kids started walking in with very cold hands and often a cough and sniffles, it didn't seem like such a great idea anymore. About the same time, an alum and former board chair named Peggy Allwell, came and saw me and said, "Mr. Sparrow, Alan, I got this puppet collection. What do you think of the idea of me bringing the puppets in and having the lower school students write stories to go along with the puppets? And then I could take the stories up to Children's Hospital and read the stories with the puppets when the kids are recovering from their illnesses or surgery." I told her I thought it was a great idea, and I asked the faculty and they thought it was a great idea. So the puppets came in for the next 4 weeks and went from classroom to classroom as the kids wrote stories about them. One day, as we were moving the puppets from one classroom to another, a bunch of the kids came up and said, "Mr. Sparrow, we're going to miss seeing the puppets tomorrow." So that had this idea, well, if I brought the puppets down to the front door and put them on my hands, then my hands would stay warm, and maybe the kids would like it. Now, I had one reservation, is that maybe the kids, and more particularly the parents, would think it was a little strange that the head of school was greeting them with puppets in the morning. But I thought I'd give it a try anyway. Well, it was an instant hit. And the only problem came when all the lower school kids were done writing their stories, and Peggy took the puppets and the stories away, and I didn't have any puppets anymore. So my own kids had 2 puppets, Winnie the Pooh and Kermit the Frog. So I brought those in every morning, and I greeted the kids with puppets. But after about 2 weeks, the kids said, "Mr. Sparrow, do you have any other puppets besides these 2? Well, I said no, but unbeknownst to me, that began a string of things that occurred, which is that I started getting gifts of puppets. And for the next 10 years, I was given over 110 puppets, and I have a collection in my office of 110 puppets now, and at that point, I let people know that I thought I had enough. What's interesting, though, is when I go to alumni reunions, or I engage an alum, the question I get most often from the alums is, do I still greet kids with puppets? Well, I had never intended this to be a situation. It was purely serendipity. It wasn't a plan, it just happened, and it turned out to be one of the most enjoyable things I do, and it's one of the things the kids enjoy the most. So whether you're heading off to college, or a gap year, or another pursuit, I encourage you to be open to serendipity. Many of the highlights of my life have been serendipitous, including how I became a teacher. But that's a story for another day. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Good morning, graduates and families. I'm Jennifer Price Wallen, Chair of the Board of Trustees. Congratulations, seniors. Looking back at your senior year, 2018-19, it has been marked with some significant events you'll be sure to remember. Psychological thriller, Bird Box. Endless hours playing Fortnite, waiting for the birth of yet another royal baby. How about Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper's performance in A Star is Born? The disastrous fire of Notre Dame, and the admissions college scandal. Perhaps most significant of 2018-19, we would call it the year of the superhero movies. 11 films have been released in your senior year. Beginning with our own superhero, legend, and leader, Alan Sparrow's announcement of retirement in 2020. Students of your generation became leaders and role models, and your voices became loud. It is your turn and your time. I'm excited to see what all of you will do with your lives. Someone once said, if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to build their dreams. So now I turn and address the people you're leaving behind this fall, your families, parents, moms, dads, grandparents, guardians, and siblings. I put together a top 10 list for parents and guardians that'll help navigate when you go away. So parents and guardians, here's the list. Number 10, unlike the drop-off on the first day of lower school, don't hover at college, just be available. Number 9, college students care more about what you think than they'll let on. Number 8, don't follow your kids on social media. You probably don't want to know. Number 7, rest assured, Roland Hall has prepared your child for life after school and in college. Number 6, refrain from telling your kids these are the best years of your life. Like you, they won't know that for themselves until later. Number 5, ask about their courses rather than focusing on grades. Number 4, send care packages and don't compare to what the roommate parents send. Just love your own gifts. Number 3, don't send frantic texts. If they don't respond right away, chances are they're just fine. Number 2, expect to feel like an ATM. College and work is expensive. And the number 1 tip for parents and guardians, please remember whose college experience it is. Congratulations to all of you, and students, let me welcome you to your new status as a learner.
Good morning, everyone. Writing this speech proved quite a challenge. Sitting in the back of the rental car driving from New Jersey to Pennsylvania last week, I realized that writing this speech was such a challenge because I didn't want to write the long speech. I had started so many drafts up to this point about memories, routine, and snippets of sentences, I couldn't decide which one to write. Challenges like this arise when choosing one erases the possibility of the others. This year, the challenge of choosing a path to pursue after high school created the same issue for me. I can visualize my life's outcomes from each of those decisions, preferring to live in the future over the present. I believe this is something we all struggle with, the challenge of choice. The challenge of choosing that we believe is right because it would make others happy or because we think it's correct. We make this decision striving to become something without great reflection on who we are in the moment or what we truly want, a fear of failure or regret. I worry over what the future will hold. I am deeply concerned that at the largest junction in my life so far, I will have chosen the wrong path. But as a very wise friend told me, you can't know your future, and being able to live within the not knowing is the hardest goal to achieve, but the most stress-relieving when we reach it. We are going out into the world, exploring who we will become, wandering down our chosen paths. All we know is how our past decisions have brought us to this moment in time. Little moments of past, like Hires chocolate milkshakes after graduating on the salon in green robes, some sunglasses, with loving people surrounding us. Class of 2019, we are a diversely talented group of artists, athletes, singers, dancers, leaders, and we've all chosen our own respective paths, and none of them are wrong. I urge you to reflect on who you are, instead of attempting to jump into the future or trying to be something that you know you're not. Trust yourself. I am so excited to see where we go from here. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Welcome. My name is Jennifer Blake, and I'm the Associate Head of School here at Rowland Hall, and I am here to give the Sumner Family Faculty Award. This award is given each year to an outstanding faculty member in each division who has demonstrated a love for teaching and excellence in the field. The award symbolizes the Sumner family's high regard for Rowland Hall's faculty. The honoree for this year's Upper School Sumner Award has taught and coached thousands of Rowland Hall students over the course of her career. Lauren Carpenter is a tour de force, Department of Fun, designing and teaching Rowland Hall's signature health and wellness curriculum for 3 decades, steering students through the essential learnings of adolescence with authority, creativity, openness, and sensitivity. Lauren is also a founder of the Physical Education and Athletics program in the upper school. Coach E, as she is fondly known in the gym, has mentored many student athletes as she head coached volleyball, basketball, and track for many years and continues to coach volleyball. As a health teacher, Lauren keeps her courses relevant, current, and responsive to teenagers' needs, incorporating units on sleep, nutrition, stress management, relationships, and consent and addiction, among other things. Lauren works to stay informed and knowledgeable about trends in teen wellness and culture. She also collaborates with colleagues. Last year, she worked with Carolyn Hickman to combine Health 2 and Ethics as an elective for seniors. This spring, she coached a new teacher. Colleagues and students cannot say enough good things about Lauren. She is unflappable. She always approaches things with a positive mindset and a desire to create a warm, trusting, safe classroom environment. And students are literally on the edges of their seats in class because the material is so relevant to them. And Lauren is an incredible teacher. She's willing to step out of the box and develop new ideas and lessons, such as having students break their stressors this year during the stress unit. And finally, I have so much respect for the kind of honest conversation she manages with our students and the tools and knowledge she gives them to be responsible for their own well-being, to respect and even protect one another. Appreciated and respected by our colleagues, a true friend to many, Lauren represents the best in education and the best of Rowland Hall. A caring, fun-loving, inquisitive, articulate, creative teacher, and lifelong learner. Congratulations, Lauren.
coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. Why? Love, 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 love. Insanity laughs under pressure. We're cracking.
Can we give ourselves one more chance? Why can't we give love that one more chance? Why can't we give love, 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 give love?
Such an old-fashioned word, and love dares you to care for the people on the edge of the night, and love dares you to change our way of caring about ourselves. This is our last chance. This is our last chance. This is our
Under pressure. Under pressure. Pressure.
Good morning. 4 years ago, if you had told me I would be standing here giving a speech at graduation, I probably would have said something like, haven't I graduated already? But alas, 5 years of high school later, here I am. And for most of you, I'm sure this requires a little explanation. 3 years ago, I was involved in a near-fatal car accident. And following that, I was faced with the difficult choice of either trying to cram my junior and senior years into 1 year, or to fall back a grade in order to fully complete my final 2 years. Already the new kid at school, I was terrified at the prospect of also having to switch grades. However, in the end, I decided to take the long road. And, as my sister told me this morning, fine wine takes its time, so it's all right. And standing here, looking back, I wouldn't change anything. No, not because of lessons of perseverance or strength or all those things that I went on and on about in my college application. Thanks, Dad. But because it allowed me to graduate with all of you. I could have hoped for. At many schools, there is this idea that students will do whatever it takes to get ahead, even putting down other students. And while this grade certainly isn't lacking in competitive spirit, these seniors have formed a tight-knit community that watches out for each other. At Rowland Hall, we as individuals are faced with many challenges. Wily sets with no solutions, books that aren't on SparkNotes, but because of the way this community operates, we never have to go through them alone. I want to thank you all for making my time here unforgettable. From more micro things like Sydney Young's constantly amazing English discussion comments, P5 was blessed, and you'll hear from her later, or Celia's obsessive tea drinking, to more class-wide things like Joseph's lunch adventures. Additionally, I would like to thank the faculty for facilitating such a wonderful environment at Rowland Hall. Each of you not only made learning enjoyable, but also continually put us first, sacrificing your time in order to be available before tests for questions or to offer feedback. And finally, I would like to thank the administration for doing the hard, behind-the-scenes work that allowed the school to run so smoothly during our time here. I could stand here and talk for hours about how each and every member of this school has impacted my life, but because of time constraints, I can only highlight a few. Firstly, I would like to thank Mr. C, who was not only a terrific mentor, but also a fantastic friend. Secondly, to Michelle and Mr. Sampson for tirelessly working with me through my junior and senior year to get me to where I am today. Thirdly, to all my junior year teachers,
Schulauscher, Miss Croft, Mr. Horry, KP, Dr. Halloran, Mr. Birchler, Dan, and Mr. Meller, who helped me, pushed me, and believed in me in a time where my future was uncertain. And finally, thank you to all you seniors. In a time where my life was full of uncertainty, you made my transition to this grade as seamless as possible. Now, as we prepare to go our separate ways, I am faced with a bittersweet goodbye. As sad as I am to be parting ways with all of you, I'm equally as excited to see the amazing things each and every one of you will undoubtedly accomplish. Class of 2019, thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to Ben for that wonderful speech and wonderfully kind compliment. And thank you all for gathering here with us today. The idea for this speech emerged one evening on an interim trip last week when Josh Kessling, Allison, and Sophia brilliantly suggested that I write about love and its adversaries. I took their advice, but fear not. You're not about to hear my own musical rendition of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On while I reference the I'm flying scene from Titanic, nor will you have to suffer through any summaries of popular Hallmark Channel films. I am referring to a different kind of love. The kind of love shared when Joseph Sioka committed to going out to lunch with every person in the grade before graduation, when Emmy Blumenthal organized a school-wide walkout to protest gun violence, or when Atticus Hickman surprised Allison Peary and Blair Alley with tea one morning. I'm speaking about the love shared when our English class snaps to celebrate a particularly insightful comment or compliments someone for flexing their literary muscles. In other words, this speech is about love as quotidian acts of human kindness and connection. Unfortunately, we all find ourselves confronted by a modern drive for productivity that depicts love as a wasteful, superfluous inefficiency. In this culture of accumulation, the emphasis lies on streamlining our lives, growing more productive, making more money, and wasting less time. Overwhelmed by to-do lists, many forget to smile at the stranger standing at the crosswalk or forget to appreciate art because the effort is an unnecessary expenditure. This is why the world needs Emmy, Joseph, and Atticus. It needs Riley Usher's and Ella Baker Smith's wonderfully kind compliments, Ethan Kovnick's delightful sense of humor, Claire Hyde's poetry, Seth Thomas's diligence and hard work as a member of stage crew, Robin Zeng's sketchbooks and paintings, Claire Sanderson's piano prowess, and Austin Topham's photography and violin mastery. The list goes on, but in short, the world needs the class of 2019's sense of love. Classmates, I'm thankful for how you inspired me every day to be the best version of myself, and I'm infinitely grateful for all the Roland Hall faculty and staff who've worked tirelessly to teach us how to show and share love in the face of a search for efficiency. I will always remember the life tips that Dr. Halloran sprinkled into her lectures, the quotes of the day that Mr. C wrote on his board, and the many hugs that KP gave to anyone having a rough day. I'll never forget when Mikey Shackelford brought me a cup of honey-sweetened tea at a debate tournament, or when Mr. Horry told us all of us to pause work on our physics labs, just so he could tell us that we are all brilliant, valuable human beings who should never dare to think otherwise. I cannot thank all of our teachers and parents enough for being these role models of kindness. Their lessons over the years have sparked my firm belief that many of the global challenges we face today could be ameliorated by dedicating time and energy to protecting beauty and all of its manifestations. Class of 2019, as we enter the next stage of our lives, we must hold on to our commitment to sharing love with those around us. The average person will meet and interact with at least 78,000 different people in their lifetime. That's 78,000 acts of kindness per person. Multiply that by the number of people in our graduating class, and that's around 5 million smiles to strangers at traffic lights, to baristas at local coffee shops, to classmates in lectures, or to co-workers at the office. This network of social interactions constructs the world and its institutions, giving us the ability to collectively shape the norms of what is considered just and fair. As we grow older, these values will guide the decisions that we must make about our environments and communities. As we make these choices, may love be our compass, while reason and sagacity fill our sails. So let's go paint, write laws, play sports, sing, dance, debate, act, write poetry, teach, learn languages, study science, read and write books, all with a sense of purpose. Let's smile at strangers we meet and make change where change is needed. Let us always find the courage and resolve to withstand opposition as we hold firm as bulwarks against inequity. And may we never treat ethics as a secondary concern. And of course, let's not procrastinate on anything as much as I have procrastinated on obtaining a driver's license. I still don't have one, by the way. Catch me tearing up the town on the classic Walmart scooter popularized by fourth graders nationwide. But above all, let us always seek out the love woven into the crags and crevices of living, for efficiency will never compare to the simple elegance of authentic human connection. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Fiona Halloran. I teach history. Thank you, class of 2019, for inviting me to speak today. It's an honor to address you as we both depart Rowland Hall for other places and new experiences. Today, I want to talk about paper towel dispensers. Yes, paper towel dispensers. And you know what I'm going to say, because everyone does. They're the worst. You reach for the paper towel dispenser and the piece you want does not come away. Instead, the whole roll unfurls. Or you get two when you wanted one. Or the piece tears. Or. And it's not like it matters which dispenser you buy. You buy the simple one that just has a stick, it fails. You buy the one with an arm that holds the roll in place, and in theory, against which you tear the piece you want, it fails. You buy the one with the spring that regulates how it fails. The one with the removable top for easily putting on a new roll, the one that mounts on the wall, the one you can pick up and move, the one that's plastic, aluminum, rubber edged, it never matters because paper towel rolls are composed 100% of disappointment. And that's the point I'd like you to consider today. You're going to be disappointed repeatedly in yourself, in your friends, in your college, in your mentors, in your family, in your career, in your dinner, in your partner. Because disappointment is a normal part of life. It's not a sign that something is horribly wrong, or that you should have made a different choice, or that there's something better out there, if only you discard this item and choose that one. Instead, disappointment is part of the human condition. To exist in the world is to be repeatedly disappointed. And you're doing it, not just experiencing it. Other people are disappointed in you sometimes. So as you emerge from childhood and enter adulthood, I want both to warn and to reassure you. Be humble as you interact with others, knowing that at times you will disappoint them. Be forgiving as you encounter the world, knowing that at times it will not live up to your expectations. And try to remember that we are all negotiating the space between our dreams and our realities. The sweet spot isn't the one that's all dreams. It's the one you're in right now, with all the fulfillment and excitement and potential and disappointment that you will feel. This is all we get, good and bad. So enjoy it. Know that we will miss you, and come back and visit when you can.
Have any of you read the Lemony Snicket series of Unfortunate Events books or seen the Netflix series? So there's a character in those books that ties her hair back every time she has really important work to do. So with the wind, I'm going to do that right now. My name is Ingrid Gustafson, and I'm the principal of the upper school. It is my extreme honor both to add my congratulations to the class of 2019 on their almost status as graduates of Rowland Hall, and it's also my honor and privilege to help hand out the diplomas and to read their names. Families, please note that we do have a photographer who is going to get the best picture of your students. We even practiced yesterday, and so do not worry if you can't get quite the right angle from your seat. We will mail them to you. We practiced all rising at the same time, too. Blair Bennett Ali. Ella Maria Baker Smith. Alexander Robert Bauman. You guys move forward as people come up because I can't see you otherwise. I want to make sure I say the right name. Anya Biskupiak. Jacob Edward Blyle. Emmy James Blumenthal. Jonah Itzhak Organicht. Aiden Braun Freck. Charlotte Arena Brown. Ian Christoph Brown. Leah Rainey Button. Samantha Rose Carlisle. Mia Jade Chamberlain. Cassidy Rose Clark. James Luis Corcoran. Elizabeth Alexandra Cecily Quijano Dark. Celia Robbins Davis. Austin Henry Davison. Emma Catherine Duggleby. Tess Margaret Edgley. Edward Hudson Northrop Friedman. Olivia Grace Furman. Cody Ning Guggen. Allison K. Hansen. Ella Jade Hathaway. Atticus McKinnon Hickman. Sophia Louise Hodson. Jacqueline Amaya Hoagland. Clarissa Marie Hyde. Connor Jordan Johansson. Joshua Redford Kessling. Catherine Sophia Rose England Kimball. Alexander Klevingat. Benjamin Andrew Korngiebel. Ethan Joshua Kovnick. Aditi Krishnan. Tori, over here now. Tori Whitworth Kusakawa. Jack Larry Lang.
Thank you.
Catherine Marie Lanham. Cora Lucia Lopez Pabon. Grace Joy McIntyre. Nectarios Panayoti Mantis. Bennett Augustus McGraw. Ashlyn Elizabeth Rose Mitchum. Cass Terrific Mulford. Anya Sierra Mulligan. Alvaro Sebastian Nicolia Ramos. Gregory Mark Olzanski. Emily Grace Olson Orphanakis. Allison Elizabeth Perrin. John Richard Plavin III. Anika Marie Polachek. Trey Parker Provost.
Thank you.
Allison Lauren Hurry. Megan Catherine Rasich. Maya Leon Royer.
Okay.
Ricardo Sanchez Ramos. Claire Ann Sanderson. Alexa Catherine Schwab. Alexis Harmony Shaw. Jack Leon Smith.
Okay.
Xander Julian Smith. Joseph Jiro Suyoka. Seth Carl Thomas. Austin Reed Topham. Cole Robert Topham. Riley Josephine Usher. Robert Gray Franklin Welt. Sydney Rose Young. Robin Zhang. Elena Jane Zip. Families, friends, faculty, staff, administration, I present to you the class of 2019.
Roland Dahl class of 2019, congratulations, congratulations. It has been a joy to know you, to learn from you, and we, your teachers, your family, your friends, are incredibly proud of you. As chaplain, it's my honor to leave you with a blessing. And that blessing is to remember your natality. Your natality. In this graduation ritual, you represent hope, our future. And this is a moment, yes, of joy for what you have done. And I hope that you take a moment to appreciate who you have become so far and the unique qualities you bring to this world. Pay attention to what you love about the world. Pay attention to what you detest about it. And then you can know how to best change this world that you inherit. Take some time also to step back and appreciate the beauty of this moment in life and how it connects you to the whole cycles of life and rebirth. Go and do something beautiful out there. Best of luck. We have now come to the end of our graduation ceremony. Seniors, in a moment, when I give the cue, you will process out to the right, go all the way behind, and gather behind the lower school building for your photo. While they are processing, faculty, you will exit from this side and head down and form a line to receive them after their picture. Family and friends, I'd ask you to please stay seated with me here while they do their photo. And when I dismiss us all, we will meet our graduates over here for a reception and photos and general excitement and merrymaking. Seniors, you may now process out.